Spinal adjustments provided by Dr. Chad Rolfson. The Spinal Tuning Chiropractic Center is a Des Moines area low flat fee per month unlimited chiropractic care practice. When life happens, just adjust. Schedule today at spinaltuning.com. Welcome to the Gospel Road. Have you ever had one of those days? I'm starting to get one of those days. It is the weekend, it is a Saturday, and all of a sudden my phone is blowing up and my email. It happens. But it's the things you got to deal with everyday life, right? I do want to say that I've watched a couple movies this weekend. I noticed on Hulu that the Jeremy Camp movie, I Still Believe, was on there, so I was able to watch that, which I've already seen. I Can Only Imagine, the song about, Mercy Me and how everything happened with them, and even the story behind the song, I Can Only Imagine. But again, great movie as well. And then I also watched the Russ Taff, which it's actually a documentary, which I didn't realize, but it was also called I Still Believe, because he had a song that was called that. That's on Amazon Prime. So if you're an Amazon Prime member, that is available right now. But you can check that out. But a lot of things I didn't know watching that documentary about Russ Taff that he is really being open about and interesting. But then even watching the Jeremy Camp movie, I mean, it's really interesting when you watch a lot of these movies and see what people have gone through, see what they have had to deal with, not only to be more understanding or understand what they are, but then to even be able to look at yourself and see things that you're dealing with, and see things that, that relatable side, the things that you didn't even understand because of things that have happened in your life as a child, as an adult, just through on. I mean, we all kind of sit back and think about, this happened and, this wasn't the greatest, and how did I react to that? And it's really that important part of the reaction to how things happen in our lives, on if we are going to be that victim or if we're going to, get away from that. Now, I will, as I say all the time, I fail. I fail all the time. Do I say that I can take any bad thing that has happened to me and really be honest to say that it's an inspiration or a motivation? No. There's times that it can, but there's times that it at the same time holds me back and really affects me. Doing the best I can. Some people understand it, some people do not. I mean, watching the Russ Taff movie and the way people went around to help him, the way they did that. I mean, there could have been different ways. They were supportive. I mean, they could have put the hammer down on him and not done it in a loving way, the way that they did. And I know a lot of times when I'm dealing with things, and for me, it becomes more of just not telling people and keeping it inside. Only because you're afraid how they're going to react. Because the average person's reaction is not going to be with that love and compassion, that support. They're going to come down on you like a hammer. It's that unconditional love that God talks about, and how that is being shared. I mean, you really see it in Russ's marriage through everything that him and Tori have been through. You saw that in Jeremy Camp's movie when he was there for Melissa, his first wife, before she passed. I mean, you see these things when you look at it, and then you're going, how am I being like that? How can that inspire me? How can that motivate me? How am I really living my life the best that I can for others, for me? Being that best friend, being that best dad, that best mom, that best grandpa, grandma, aunt, uncle. How are you doing that to really help them? help those around you? How are you being that best coworker to really give that to support to someone that you're with? How are you being that best supervisor, that best manager for the person that needs that support? You know, it really comes down to a lot of simple things. And then I sit here and share with you that you can find a lot of that in the Bible, which is odd, right? Again, you don't need to believe the way I do, and that's fine. I don't want you to. I want you to believe what you want to believe. You need to figure out who you are. That's not my job. Again, it's that free will that we've all heard about for many years of making those decisions. Are you right? Are you wrong? Am I right? Am I wrong? I have no idea. I cannot answer that question. I just always remember that I've heard this, and I know I shared this. It's been a while since I've shared it on the podcast, but I remember hearing this a few years ago. I don't remember if it was Billy Graham or if it was somebody else. It might have even been a couple different evangelists or preachers that have shared it. That, you know, going through life, choosing to be a Christian, and you get to the end, and there is no heaven. There is no afterlife. It's not there. What have you really lost besides just being a good person, being good to one another, loving one another, helping out one another, you know, being that good Samaritan? But then what if it is true? And there is a heaven and there is a hell. It's those quandaries, those thoughts, those images in your mind that you kind of have to decide. Think, who is it that you are going to be? Who is it that you are going to help today? Are you going to be a better person today? Matthew 5 is where we're going to look at. Kind of went through an entire podcast almost at that point of content before even getting to there. But I mean, I just watched those two movies, and again, if you get a chance to watch either one of them, please do. You need to. Again, I still believe that is on Hulu. You can watch that. And then, of course, it's also on Amazon as well, but it's either renting or buying it on Amazon, which, you know, is fine. You can do that. I can't remember. It was like $5-10. I can't remember. But then right now, the rest half, I still believe that is on Amazon Prime. So if you have Prime, you can watch that for free. Then, of course, I can only imagine the Mercy Me movie also available on Amazon right now too. And it might have been for a while. I can't remember. And I've just noticed it over the past couple days because I finally quit binge watching another show. I got done with that and then ran into these others. I just turned Hulu on the other day. I'm like, wow. The movie's on here, and I wanted to see this. So just kind of lucked out that way. All right, Matthew 5. It says, seeing the crowds, he went up on the mountain, and when he sat down, his disciples came to him. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you who, when others revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven, for so they persecuted the prophets who were before you. You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt has lost its taste, how shall its saltiness be restored? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled under people's feet. You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. Do not think that I come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. For truly I say to you, until heaven and earth pass away, not an iota, not a dot will pass from the law until all is accomplished. Therefore, whosoever relaxes one of the least of these commandments, and teaches others to do the same, will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does them and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I tell you, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and the Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. You have heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not murder, and whoever murders will be liable to judgment. But I say to you that everyone who is angry his brother will be liable to judgment. Whoever insults his brother, who will be liable to the council, and whoever says you fool will be liable to the hell of fire. So if you are offering your gift at the altar, and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there before the altar and go. For first be reconciled to your brother, and then come and offer your gift. Come to terms quickly with your accuser while you are going with him to court, lest your accuser hand you over to the judge, and the judge to the guard, and you to be put in prison. Truly I say to you, you will never get out until you have paid the last penny. You have heard that it was said, you shall not commit adultery. But I say to you that every one who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery with her in his heart. And if your right eye causes you to sin, tear it out and throw it away. For it is better that you lose one of your members than your whole body be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. For it is better that you lose one of your members than your whole body going into hell. It was also said, whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce. But I say to you that everyone who divorces his wife, except on the grounds of sexual immorality, makes her commit adultery. And whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery. Again, you have heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not swear falsely, but shall perform to the Lord what you have sworn. But I say to you, do not take an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is the throne of God, or by earth, for it is the footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great King. And do not take an oath by your head, for you cannot make your own hair white or black. Let what you say be simply yes or no. Anything more than that comes from evil. You have heard that it was said that an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, do not resist the one who is evil. But if anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. And if anyone would sue you and take your tunic, let him have your cloak as well. And if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2 miles. Give to the one who begs from you, and do not refuse the one who would borrow from you. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be sons of your Father who is in heaven. For he makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the just and on the unjust. For if you love those who love you, what reward do you have? Do not even the tax collectors do the same? And if you greet only your brothers, what more are you doing than others? Do not even the Gentiles do the same? You therefore must be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect. Matthew 5 is what we're looking at today. Lots of information in there, lots of things to really think about. Again, it's those pieces about what am I doing today that's better than yesterday. You know, are you being the light? Are you being someone's light? Are you being their darkness? How are you treating your neighbor, your friend, your coworker, your family? I mean, are you really encouraging them? Are you being that salt? Or are you being tasteless? Are you showing anger? Are you insulting those around you? Are you asking or looking for reconciliation when there's someone that has a problem with you at work, at home, whoever it is? I mean, there's so many things that we look at and that we can read in here to really decide where we are, who we are, finding out what that journey is, where we're going, and how we're going to get there. Loving your enemies. Yeah, I'm not saying any of this is easy by any means, because, that automatic reaction when somebody does something to you at work, and it's getting harder and harder. I mean, let's be honest. We're dealing with many laws that are being put in effect when it comes to the workforce that if you retaliate in any way, you almost can be fired. You pretty much are being silenced. So if someone does something bad to you, says something bad to you, and again, depending on who they are, you have to be cautious. You have to be careful. You have to really sit there and think about how you're going to react to that situation. I mean, when I read through the Bible, I think a lot of things we're dealing with today, not much different than they were dealing with 2,000, 3,000, 10,000 years ago. It's just now we've got social media. We have an internet. We can just get there faster. We have a car. It's not a day's walk to do something. I'm not sure how much we've actually grown as a world, as a country. We're dealing with the same issues just in a different way. And we still need to be responsible for ourselves. We need to hold ourselves accountable on how we are treating others. I've said this many times because I've heard this on other podcasts. It's love, love, love. Love God, love your neighbor, love yourself. Loving yourself is hard. I know. Loving your neighbor can be, especially if they're mean, but love your neighbor and love God. It's having that stance, that platform that you're on, that belief, because there have been songs and it's been said many times that you've got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. You have to have a belief. There needs to be some sort of belief there for you. Because then you're going to be what we hear about the politicians all the time, is that they're always flip-flopping. Are you using your mind? Again, I've talked about being healthy, body, mind, and spirit. Taking care of your mind, taking care of your body, taking care of your soul. Building them up, strengthening them. Being the best that you can be. We've heard it. I mean, at least I did, if you remember, and I'm going to age myself, but the tagline for the Army, be all that you can be. Remember that? That's that goal. Be all that you can be. If you're going to be a police officer, be all you can be. Firefighter, be all you can be. A teacher, be all you can be. An accountant, be all you can be. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. You pick the occupation. A singer, be all you can be. An actor, be all you can be. In media, radio, broadcast, be all you can be. Be the best that you can. Always strive, always learning, always practicing. Be better than what you were. Remember, I've been saying this a lot lately. It's being better today than I was yesterday. Being better tomorrow than I am today. It's all by learning. It's all by practicing. It's all by, really working towards building yourself to be that better person. And then helping others to also build to be that better person. Encouraging, inspiring, motivating, helping them. Again, watching those two movies, and I mean, there's just been so many things that I've been watching and listening to lately that just reminds me of so many pieces, and also reminding me of where I need to be, what I need to do. Is it easy? No. Do I really want to sit there and realize my faults, my issues? No. But it's trying to deal with them the best that I can. Sometimes you have people there to support you. Sometimes you do not. Sometimes you have people there to love you. Sometimes you do not. Or they're going to give you that tough love. Because that's what we were told. We need to give you that tough love. Write you off and move you down the bench. You'll figure it out. Enough people push you out of their life, you'll figure it out. You'll get it figured out all on your own, and you'll finally turn your life around. Well, will that work? Not sure that's a 100% answer. I'm not sure that's 100% correct. Not saying that, you can sit there and keep, holding somebody in either if it's starting to be detrimental to you either. It's that fine line. Trying to figure out where you make those decisions and how you do it and how you deal with them. Not easy. Matthew 5. That's what we looked at today. So check it out. Read it for yourself. How does it speak to you? What does it say to you? What is it encouraging you to do to better yourself in any part of your life? Body, mind, and spirit. As I always say, read that. Check it out for yourself. And again, I'll say it again. If you get a chance, watch I Still Believe, the Jeremy Camp movie. Watch Russ Taff's I Still Believe, his documentary. And, this is kind of afterthought because it's been out for a while, but if you get a chance, if you haven't seen it yet, you need to watch I Can Only Imagine, the Mercy Me movie. Check them out. Great movies, great stories, great inspiration, encouragement, motivation, wherever you are, whatever you're dealing with. I could go through, I've watched so many movies in my entire life. I could go, the list goes on and on and on and on. I can even give you the other movies and worrying about the tribulation and the end times. Thief of the Night. It's like a 3-movie series. Or was it 4? I can't remember. Of course, the first one filmed right here where I am in Des Moines. I remember because I see the Des Moines police cars. I remember the Iowa State Fair and the one scene that was filmed there. There's just a lot of stuff. But it's really finding those good pieces and reading them and finding the things to really help you to be better. I even had an opportunity, as I've talked about before with my other podcasts, that I talked to the psychologist that is really trying to help people because he's lost weight himself. And that was Glenn Livingston, but he has, written the book about, never binge again. And you can get it free if you go check out his website. It's neverbingeagain.com. But, it's dealing with that inner part of you, dealing with that inner, as he calls it in the book, the inner pig, always wanting, always going after more. How you have that inner pig that's going after so much and it doesn't matter who is in your way, you're going to just trample them down to get what you want, to better your situation, and who cares where you leave them in the dust or what you do to them to get to where you need to be. Important things to think about. Matthew 5. Read that today. Thank you for listening to The Gospel Road. Have a great day. God bless. Spinal adjustments provided by Dr. Chad Rolfson. The Spinal Tuning Chiropractic Center is a Des Moines area low flat fee per month unlimited chiropractic care practice. When life happens, just adjust. Schedule today at spinaltuning.com.